So I'm here with Breanna Bertschinger, who is one of the franchisees from Milwaukee. Her other half is not with us today. Got other stuff going on. But just tell us a little bit about your Made This journey, Breanna. When did you start and what originally drew you to the opportunity in the first place?
Yeah, so we launched October of 24, so just over a year ago now. Um, Previously, before this, I was working in healthcare full time and cleaning houses on the side. And Sean, my fiance, he's always been an entrepreneur, and I always aspired to be an entrepreneur myself too. And so we were really looking for something that I could do that could replace my full time job. So when we were listening to a podcast, we came across Neil with Made This and had a couple interviews and went through all the training and launched shortly after. So we launched in October of 24, and I ended up quitting my full time job just 2 months later. It didn't necessarily replace my income 2 months later, but I realized that in order to scale to where we are now and to scale faster, I had to get rid of that job to be present in all the community marketing, handling all the operations, sales, answering the phones and things like that. So very quickly after, quit my job, and it's been about a year since that happened, and I don't regret it one bit. So yeah, that's how we got started.
If you were to go back in time to, it wasn't, I mean, a year ago is not that long ago, right?
No.
And tell yourself, here are a couple of things that you you didn't know or you wish you would have known as part of the process. What do you think you would have told yourself?
Um, I think one thing that I wish we would have gone a little bit harder in the beginning is the community marketing. I think for myself too, just working in healthcare, specifically in home care, where I didn't see any coworkers or anything, that I was just myself and the patients all day long. I didn't really have experience speaking in front of large groups, like going to chamber, going to BNI, just going to all these different networking events. And the last like 8 months probably have it's completely changed our business. People are starting to get to know us more now, trusting us, trusting the business. And I wish we would have just started it a little bit earlier, but I was so nervous to go and speak in front of these people, like people that are older than me. So just feeling nervous. And so I think you just really need to break out of your shell and just go for it. So I wish that is something that we would have started a little bit earlier so people could just, start trusting us faster than, not 6 months into your business.
Now, people don't recognize the background or don't know this story, but it's December and I see some green outside, which doesn't look very much like Wisconsin. So if you could give us some insight into, what that is and how that relates to what your plan was for Made This originally and how that's changed.
hmm So when we started Made This too, the goal was always to, well, for any of our businesses, is to build them up to the point where we're not sitting there working in the business every single day, where it's kind of running itself and we're just overseeing everything. So that was the goal with the cleaning company. And a huge goal that we've always had is to go south for the winter time, because we absolutely hate Wisconsin winters. We don't do anything in the winter time. It's depressing. We stay inside. So our goal was to always come here. So I don't want to say we were like ready, because I don't feel like you're ever going to be really like ready. So we were just like, well, let's just buy a camper. Let's book a campsite. We did this and we got the camper in July, booked the campsite in August to come here in November. And so we had like August to November to really just figure it out. And we had no choice but to figure it out. So we decided to come to Florida,
So
in
you
our
felt like you just backed yourself into the corner? You're
Yeah,
like,
so we like had no choice because otherwise you say you're gonna do things and you just never do them. Like, people talk about, oh, I wanna quit my job, I wanna travel, I wanna move to a different state, and you just hear all these things and people never actually do them.
mm,
And I think that if you have a goal and you constantly are talking about something that you want to do, I think you just have to go for it, go all in, like believe in yourself, be the hardest worker in the room, and just keep going. So I think that was our mindset, like for the last 3 months of like we just have to figure it out. And it truly has gone so well since we've been here. We have booked a cleaning, multiple cleanings, at least one cleaning or multiple cleanings every single day since we've been here. So it feels really good that everything's running smoothly. We have no issues with, getting our cleaners to cleans. No one's called in, thank goodness. But we have backups because we're a little bit overstaffed. So if that would happen, we have systems in place that allowed us to do this. So it's running smoothly so far.
well, what's interesting is that you are one of the few people in the system that are a lot like Neil. So I think people come in attracted by Neil's story, but they don't necessarily want to replicate it insofar as they may have kids and they may have grandparents around. But you are doing what Neil does on a regular basis, which is you have a local business, you live in your market, but now you are going away for an extended amount of time. So, for example, we're recording this in 2025, and earlier in the year, Neil was gone from the Los Angeles market for 6 months in Africa, of all places.
Yep.
So you are doing that as well. And I know you haven't been there, very long yet, but how are you feeling? Do you feel as if this was the right decision in terms of remote? Are you thinking, well, maybe we'll stay longer, maybe we'll stay shorter? On a very quick assessment of your new lifestyle, how's it going?
Well, we got here November 20th this year. And we said next year we're coming October.
Oh,
So
wow.
like we've only been here for like 2.5 weeks, and Sean was like, this is just so amazing and everything's just going so well so far that if it continues to go like this, like there's no reason we couldn't come earlier. So that is just kind of a goal too, is to try to move it up a little bit next year. Obviously this is the first year, we didn't know what was going to happen, we needed some time to get some systems and things in place. But we don't regret it one bit. It's been great down here. And it's been really nice to just take a step back from all of the noise and the feeling of like you have to be at everything. Like if there is no one to take a clean, like I would just go do it, or I would be going to do all the community marketing. And now we have no choice but to have someone do that for us, which has allowed us to sit down. And we've sat down a lot since we've been here and worked on the business, writing goals for 2026, not only for MaidThis, but for our other business, the lighting business, real estate, and just other business ventures that we have brewing in the back of our heads. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, it's been really great to just kind of take a step back and work on things and not constantly be in the business all the time because you feel obligated to when you're, in that market.
So my last question goes back to the beginning, that question of picking made this. Now, some people might say, well, easy for Brianna to say she was already cleaning houses, right?
Hmm.
Now, the other side is you were also working with people as a nurse. So that, is
Hmm.
not exactly the same thing. So as people are looking at the made this opportunity and they're considering other franchises or other businesses, what do you think would recommend made this to them? And then also related to their own background, should they feel like they could only do it if they have some kind of cleaning background?
Um, well, first we chose MaidThis one because um, the fact that you get to speak to the founder and how close Neil is with all of his franchise locations is not something you hear all the time. We know people, family, friends who own franchises, and that is not the case at all. The fact that he shows up for all of the locations all the time and does everything he can to try to improve the system as a whole, was just absolutely amazing to us. So we appreciate that and just appreciate the community that the franchise has. It's a good size where it's not like you don't know anyone, but it's not like we're the first three starting off or something like that. So there's systems in place and things like that. So that is like really, really why we chose it. But for someone that is like looking into it, I don't think you have to have any cleaning experience. Sean knows nothing about cleaning, but he went there in the beginning when we were doing most of the cleanings ourselves. And he was the best vacuumer there was. He did the vacuuming, he did the mopping, and he just really gets in there and gets everything clean. So I think you just learn. Like, of course, I'm much better at doing all the pricing and things like that, but he knows what the pricing is. But if people had questions, like you just kind of learn about it. You don't have to be, you're not going to be the best cleaner if you're not a cleaner yourself, but that's okay. Who cares? I think you just have to be a good business owner and know how to run things. I was telling Sean that yesterday. Like, he doesn't know how to do all this cleaning stuff, but he is such a good business owner as far as like running operations, doing sales, just managing people that you're going to be successful if you're good at that.
Well, that might be the other thing, Bren, is people say, yeah, well, that's nice for Sean because he already had business ownership experience. But what about me? I've never been a business owner before. And she's saying that I need to be a good business owner. How can I do that?
Yeah, and like myself, I had no business owner experience whatsoever. I had no idea what I was doing. I still feel like sometimes I have no idea what I'm doing, but you just figure it out and you grow it. I can't believe like how much you figure out in such a short amount of time, and because you have to, especially when you quit your full-time job, you have to figure it out. There's no other, failure is literally not an option. So you just have to figure it out. I don't know what else to say, but
Well, I think part of that's pointing to the idea of training, right? So that you do have this training, but there's still so much training basically gets you ready to open, but it doesn't give you everything you're going to need for your whole life. And
Mhm.
so part of that figuring it out, what I've been so interested in as an observer, as a non-franchisee myself, has been seeing other people sharing their tips all the time. Because that's something that moves much more slowly in the business owner community is that when I had my own business, I wasn't part of a franchise. The last time I was really out there doing community marketing. So my data would transfer slowly. I would go to a chamber meeting and say, hey, have you heard about this thing called MailChimp? And then we would keep in mind this is decades ago. Have you heard
Yeah.
about this email newsletter thing? Okay, well, what is that? Well, it's supposed to help you such and such. Whereas when we're in the franchisee Slack, people are like, this happened today. Here's what you should do. Here's a program that will help you do it. And you just think, this is happening so fast all the time across different marketplaces that that information sharing is a real secret weapon of franchisees that you cannot duplicate if I have my own cookie business, I cannot duplicate what, let's say, some giant headquarters is doing in terms of working on recipes and testing marketing, et cetera. And I think that's watching you all share your data and then watching you all take other people's data and implement stuff yourself has been really interesting.
Mhm. And I think that's, like I said, why we chose Made This too, is because I had obviously no business owner experience prior to this. But looking back, I would have felt even more confident knowing that you get so much support in the Slack channel from like you literally just post one thing and you have 5, 10 people commenting right away, hey, this is how I'd go about this situation, or this is what you can do. So you have so much support. So even if you do have questions, you're not alone ever, which is great.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us and share your story with um, potential future franchisees, and wish you ongoing luck and starting in October instead of November next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.